Hello, in this video we are going to learn about the rook and king checkmate. Earlier we saw how to do the double rook checkmate and queen and king checkmate. Rook checkmate is little complicated than the first two checkmates because if you miss one move then the king tend to escape, but it's not as complicated as it looks, just that the king and the rook has to work in synchrony. So let's get started. If you look at this position, the king is already stuck to the last rank. This is called the edge of the board. So either the king is in the last rank or in the first rank, first file or the last file. It's called the edge of the board. Anywhere the king is there, then the job is pretty simpler. All you need to do is make sure that your rook traps it in the edge of the board. Since the rook is present on e7, the king cannot come up the board. You see, they cannot move up because it's illegal move to move the king into the attack. So the king is stuck. Now it is our turn to make progress. How do we proceed with this? Just reduce it, but ensure that the king has at least one square to move. So get the king closer. Now get the king closer. And don't try to reduce it now, because if you go here, that is a stalemate. A stalemate means it's a draw. The king is not under attack, but it has not got any square to move. And at the same time, there are no other pieces left for black to move. So this is a stalemate. So what we need to do is a checkmate. So if I go here, will it lead to a checkmate? Of course, it is a check, but the king has got some escape square. Whenever the king has been trapped to the edge of the board, you just go in and say checkmate. So here is another example. The king is already to the corner. It is at the edge of the board. The rook has done a great job in restricting the king. It cannot come up the board. So it has literally got only one square. Now, what you can do is, if you try to do a waiting move moving like this, then the king would also walk up and try to escape. So you should not be leaving this file at any cost. So this rank is very important. You need to maintain here. Of course, if you go here, they will simply capture. Maybe you can go here or here, anywhere across this rank should be fine. Just let's do a waiting move. Now the king is in the corner. Remember, the king, your king acts as a opposition for your opponent's king, so it cannot make any progress, it cannot come up the board, and using that to your advantage, you go in and say checkmate. Now this is the typical position you will see in your games. In the first two games, the king was already to the corner. Right now we are at the middle of the board. How do we restrict this? Just simply reduce the space. The king is protecting, so you reduce it further. Now don't do this mistake of going here, because the king would simply capture. You need to use your king along with your rook, make progress, and as it moves, now you block him. Now the king has got two squares, so you can come this side of the board, go and take the opposition. Your king is opposing your opponent's king, so it cannot come up the board. Now go in and say checkmate. Again, right now if you see the king is in the middle of the board, you go and attack and give a check. Now our rook is under attack, we go and protect it. Now try to reduce. Again you can reduce, but you don't go now here because he will come and attack. So you use the king, and use the king to come closer. Then reduce, move your king forward, reduce, do a waiting move with the king, go up, reduce, do a waiting move with the king, reduce. Now he is in the last rank. Move your king up, he goes to the edge of the board, checkmate. Now the king is here, it's all the same thing, but then we are doing it in the opposite direction. So restrict the king from coming up the board, use the king to come and take the opposition. Now reduce it, come closer, reduce it, do a waiting move, control it, then come closer, closer, reduce it, reduce it. Now the king is in the edge of the board. Come closer, he goes to the edge, checkmate. So let's do it pretty fast this time. So reduce it, move the king up, move the king up, reduce it, move the king up. Now move the king up and checkmate. Do a waiting move, checkmate. Then reduce it. Furthermore, get the king closer, closer, reduce it, come closer, closer, checkmate. Now give a check, go and protect, reduce, get the king closer, closer, reduce, come closer, then go and take a position, give a check, move up, and then do a waiting move, reduce them, closer, checkmate. Again, come closer, then reduce, furthermore, and get closer, reduce, and come closer, and checkmate. So this is how you solve it. I hope this video was useful. See you all with another interesting checkmate themes. Thanks for watching.